One of the main selling points of the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 4, certainly in context of upgrading from a Z Flip 3, was the improved battery life of the Z Flip 4, coming from 3.5, 4 hours of screen on time from your 3 to well over 6 with your 4 when it first released. And everybody jumped up and down, myself included, and lauded this device for how well it had performed in terms of battery. And we all celebrated the TSMC foundry processing and whatever that is with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 Plus and all the efficiencies that came with that. But for whatever reason, maybe it's my particular use case, whatever apps that I have running, my combination of Wi-Fi and 5G usage in the area where I have 5G. But in the October and November patch, I have not gotten a December patch yet for this device, but running Android 12 still, between the October patch and the November patch, my battery life has taken a big dip. I am no longer getting the 6+ hours of screen on time that I was getting easily when this device first came out. And I am dying to hear from people to see if your Z Flip 4 has held up with battery life. And it's important because a lot of people switched to this device from an iPhone. And part of the reason, and one of the reasons that I highlighted, was the battery life. Because it finally was a competitor that you could have on all day with this device. It wasn't a device that was a disconnect device like it was last year with the 3.5 hours. You had to know what you were getting going in, and understand that it couldn't be used as heavily as some of the other devices in its price range. This year, that changed. You could use it as heavily as some of the phones in its price range. You could use it not quite as heavily as an iPhone 13 or 14 with that outsized battery life, but certainly in comparison with other Android flagships, you could use this heavily and still get away with it with the extended battery life. But I don't know if it's something they did with Android 12, if it's something they did in software, but I am not getting that anymore. You can see right here, we'll see today as an example, and this has been happening all week long. Go up here, see if we can zoom in on that. It's hard to tell because of the background I have here, but we're looking at 72%, okay? 72% battery life left on this device here. So let's go ahead and take a look at our battery and see what we've been doing today. You can see here, see if we can get that to zoom, 1 hour and 4 minutes of screen on time. It was even worse yesterday, and that was with a mix of 5G. When you this was on Wi-Fi all day. This was the result I was getting. If you sprinkle in some 5G, it gets even worse. If you sprinkle in some Instagram, which for some reason, I don't know, whatever the update for Instagram or the particular One UI update that it has clashes somehow, but I've had to put Instagram in deep sleep a couple of times this week because it had outsized battery drain. And when I go in and I try to see who the culprit is, so I go since last full charge, you can see Instagram, Twitter's a big drain. Big drain. I've used that the most, but it's a big drain as well. But you see One UI, home, messages making an appearance. None of the usual things that we had on phones that had big drains in the past, like the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra, like the Google Pixel 6. I haven't seen anything like the mobile network. You might want to say that the outer display is a little bit of a drain. Okay, that's fine. But nothing that I would see that would alarm me here, drain-wise, but I'm just not getting the battery life that I had previously. Really disappointing. I don't know what happened there. I understand that 5G is bad. And there are several people where 5G really worked out well for them. They're in a rural area, they weren't able to get fiber, or their internet's not any good, where they were able to get 5G towers, and in a lot of cases, in fact, I had one comment last week where someone said they were able to replace their entire home internet by just having 5G. That's great. And for areas where that technology works like that, and it can actually supply internet speeds that you couldn't get otherwise, then that makes 5G worth it. I will say 5G in metropolitan areas right now, to me, is trash. It doesn't have the coverage that it should. It doesn't have the reliability and the connectivity that it should. It switches back and forth too much, and you have too many coverage gaps when that's happening. You'll go from 5G to 4G LTE, and it'll take a moment to connect. It happens a lot on the Pixel 6, by the way. That modem just couldn't switch fast enough. It happens on your iPhone a lot, too, if you notice it. That gap in performance is bad. 5G speeds are inconsistent at best. It just wasn't fully ready for prime time. And the other problem is, besides the technology part, the tower, the carrier part, I think there was a problem on the part of the manufacturers building modems. I don't think Qualcomm knew how to handle the efficiency of the modem. I don't think that all these other manufacturers understood what it meant to make a power-efficient 5G modem, because we haven't seen one yet. Everyone claims they might have a new modem. I know Qualcomm this year coming out with the Gen 2 chip claims that there's a new modem in there that's going to help out with speeds and efficiency. We'll see. But the fact that they built one and they highlighted that in their presentation lets you know that there were problems with the previous generation. So whether it's 5G that's draining too much, but 5G was on when the phone first came out. So I don't know if there's something with an update that they've done. I don't know if it's the patch every month that's caused issues. Samsung has been good over the past several years of giving us patches that helped and not hurt. Now, for me, I'm getting patches that hurt a little bit. And that's disappointing because it certainly gives no reason. If this becomes a device that's at 3.5, 4 hours of screen on time, there is zero reason to pick up a Flip 4 over a Flip 3. You want to talk minor camera improvements? You want to talk about whatever with the new Snapdragon that's in this? Save it. Save it. I don't want to hear it. The Snapdragon 888 in the Flip 3 will get you just as far with every application you'd possibly want to run in 2022, 2023, 2024 as this one for a fraction of the price if we're going to get the same battery life. The reason why you buy a 4 is because you want to get 6.5 hours of screen on time, 6 hours of screen on time. You want to replace your regular smartphone. You want to replace your Slab. You want to replace your S21, your iPhone, your Google Pixel, and come to this. And it's disappointing if that, for whatever reason, that doesn't hold out. So let me know. Is it my Instagram usage? I've tried to stay off Facebook with this. I haven't done a whole lot. You could see here, we'll pull down. I've kept the screen at about 80%. You want to call that 80 because it's almost near the red zone? That's fine. You want to say it's closer to 100 or it's technically 100 because we're almost at the red zone? Okay, but I've kept it here. Sparse use. Not a lot of intensive stuff other than social media. We're not talking a lot of video. Not talking a lot of pictures. The camera app hasn't even been open. It's just been that mix. This was Wi-Fi only today. You can see a little bit better there. 71%. We've dropped a percent just doing this video. How much screen on time was that? Not a lot. Not a lot. I'm worried. A lot of people switch to this device with the intention of using it all day and having an all-day device that they wouldn't have to top off. And mine, if I wanted to use it as heavily as my iPhone, as heavily as my S22 Ultra even, which not that's great battery life, but it's still better than this right now, then I would have to charge this during the day to get to that and then some. So let me know if you were one of the people who switched, one of the people who upgraded, who got one, what your battery life has been like. Has it gotten better? Has it gotten worse? I'm curious to know because this is a phenomenal deal and a great phone. It's a fantastic performer, but it's still really cool in the hand to use. I love what they've done with the hinge upgrade this year. I think that's, obviously that's another reason why you'd want to upgrade. The hinge is nice, strong, solid. But the star of the show to me was that battery life. And they take that away, it becomes a tougher sell. If you've made it this far, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Until next time, let's get the globe here in focus. Have that Steve-licious day.